and had a lot of problems. Did some drinking when I was young, got pregnant at an early age, and thought that I'd pulled myself out of that. After years of trying to make life work through different relationships, in and out of marriage, there's two sides to every story. I could stand and tell mine in the marriage, but that person isn't here to tell theirs. But there was a lot of abuse, a lot of things, a lot of reasons to get out. And even though he almost took my life at one time, once I was out and he passed away, I had such guilt. I had such feelings that maybe that I should have held on longer, I should have tried harder, I should have prayed more. And the fact that I was once sitting in a bathroom floor with my back against the door trying to hold him out as he was trying to reach in to stab me, it seemed like that wasn't important anymore. But, the devil can work in your mind in many ways. And I don't know why I'm going where I'm going, but I'm just going to trust God. And you should never keep yourself in a situation where somebody is trying to kill you. That's not love, and that's not okay. Nobody has the right to be trying to take your life, to be trying to torture you, to tear you down with words and make you feel like you're nothing, you're the scum of the earth, you're nobody, because that's a lie. You are somebody. You are somebody that Jesus Christ gave his life for, that God gave his son for, and you have a purpose. Jesus is the author and the finisher of our faith, and if we will come to him just as we are, he will make us whole. He will make us new. All of our problems and all of our issues and all of the things that come against us in every way, whether it's in the natural, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, whether it's in your mind, it doesn't matter where it comes from. God has all power. All power over every spirit. There is no spirit, nothing that is greater than my God. He has the power to deliver, to set free, to save, to cleanse, to heal. He can do anything. And I'm so grateful that even in my mess, that most people had come to the conclusion that I was hopeless. I was hopeless. I was horrible. I was a bad mother. I was a bad person. There was any good thing you could say about me, 10 other people could tell you something bad about me. I could tell you the things that I didn't do, the things that most addicts do that I wasn't guilty of, but there's plenty of things that I was guilty of. There's plenty of things that I've done wrong that made me unclean, that made me unacceptable. But I'm grateful for the power of God that had mercy on my soul, that he saved me, that he made me new. Even though I come up in a home with an alcoholic parent, sexually abused, different things went on in my life, and those things tried to hold to me. Those things tried to keep me. Whenever I would be around people, I would always feel inferior to them. I couldn't look people in the eye. So many times, whenever you have been abused and done wrong, you don't even know how to act with people. You're like some kind of an animal that you're scared of people, and when they get too close, you just attack them because you think they're fixing to attack you. And even though my mind was so messed up and I was so broken, Jesus loved me. Jesus loved me so much, and Jesus made a way for me. I found myself going to the doctor after the death of the person I was speaking of earlier, and they put me on nerve pills. They put me on medication for anxiety, and within about a year of that, I just wasn't who I was anymore. I began to think differently. I began to act differently, and it's as if part of me knew I had a problem, but part of me still thought I was okay. I was still going to church, and I was still praying some, but the enemy was getting a hold of me. And I just beg you, wherever you're at in your life, in your walk today, if you've just started using drugs, if you've just started some kind of new prescription that is messing with your mind, that is messing you up, that's making you feel drunk, I just pray that you take that to the Lord. that you take that to God and see what He would have for you to do. Because just because a doctor gives you something doesn't mean it's going to work out for your good. But I tell you that the great physician, when He gives you something, it will work out for your good. He will make a way for you where there seems to be no way. All of the medication that was supposed to make me better made me worse and made me worse. The medication turned me into a drug addict. Being a drug addict turned me into losing custody of my children. And I wish that I could stand here and say that woke me up. That made me change. And I heard a story of a lady before I ever even had an issue. And she had lost her kids because of drugs. And I said, oh gosh, did she quit and do everything to get them back? And they said, no, she got worse. And somebody I didn't know, somebody I knew nothing of her life, I thought, oh, how sorry. How sorry could that mother be that she would get worse instead of getting off of those drugs and get her kids back. And in 10 short years, that same woman, you could say the same thing about me. I lost my children, and instead of getting sober, I got worse. I tried to get sober. I started having seizures. People started saying that I was going to die. And I thought, well, it'd be better to die. And they're like, well, your kids won't even have a mom. Just take this and just take that. And I was so desperate, and I was so in my own little world that nobody would help me. That was my thinking. That's what the devil wants you to think, is that nobody's going to help you. And I promise people, there is people that will help you. God will put people in your path. Social services isn't your enemy. The courthouse isn't your enemy. There may be some police that do bad things that you know, but there's some that are good. There's some that are godly. There's somebody that will help you. There is help out there. Don't be afraid of the help. I was afraid. I was scared to death that if I told anybody the truth, that I would never get my kids back. And I tried to just make a plan in my own self, in my own ways. And that led to destruction. And it led to me being away from my children for 2 more years. And finally, it took a lot for me to give up. I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and this will work and that'll work. But none of those things worked. None of those ideals, none of those plans. All of the people that I knew that they went through social services and they passed their drug test illegally, it didn't work for me. Sometimes God has a plan for us that is bigger than what we can see, and He won't let what other people get by with. We will not get by with it, because it's for our good and it's for our children's good. If I would have faked it and made it through those drug tests, then my children would have a totally different life today. I have 7 children, and I have 7 good children. My oldest son is 29, and my youngest daughter is 14. And all of my children are good people. They're not all living for the Lord right now, but considering what they've been through, their lifestyles is something totally different than what you will ever hear in statistics. Statistically, they would have a totally different life. But because of God, because I surrendered to God, and He became the master of my life, the master of my heart, and I began to follow Him, my children have a different life today. And no matter where you are, and no matter how bad it is, because it was bad in our life. It was a week before my son's 16th birthday, whenever they got took away. And they were scattered, and they were broken, and they were hurt, and they were crying. And I was just destroyed, and I didn't know what to do. And I did everything the wrong way. And I ended up getting with a person that dealt drugs. And I thought, maybe money will be the answer. I can just give my kids all the money that they want. I can give them cars. I can give them things. And that'll make up for the failure that I'm in. But it didn't make up for it. I had enough drugs to stay wiped out all day long, and enough money that I could spend it all day long, and I was miserable. I was miserable. People think, that the drugs isn't a problem, that it's the lack of the ability to get them, and that's not true. You can get all that you can do, and you're still not going to be happy. You will never be happy on drugs and alcohol. It takes Jesus Christ living inside of your heart to make you happy. And when He comes inside of your heart, all of the problems in your life and all of the things that you have, you will begin to work on them in a way that it will solve them and it will change them. We can't do that on ourselves. And you're not going to be perfect immediately. You're never going to be perfect. But you got to strive, and you got to walk, and you got to pray and search for God to help you and to lead you and guide you and direct you, and He will make a way, because that's what He did for me. I found myself laying on the couch just thinking that maybe I had done too much drugs and that maybe I was going to die. And I asked God. I didn't want to not die because my life was meaningless. I just didn't want to go to hell. I accepted that I couldn't change anything, that there was nothing I could do to change the situation with my children. There was nothing I could do to change me. I was hopeless. I didn't know how I got that way, but that's where I was. I had once been the Sunday school teacher. I had once been the bus driver. I had once been the one that did children's church. And all of that didn't matter, because now, at that point, I was had about a $2,000 a day drug habit that I could not beat. And many times I thought I quit. I would lay it down and just pick it back up again. And so, in that moment of defeat, I asked Jesus, somehow, between this point right here and me dying, somehow save me. Please save me. Don't let me go to hell. I'm sorry that I turned out this way. I didn't mean to be this way. I don't know how this happened to me, but I can't change it. And please save me. And I asked God to somehow let my kids know that I loved them. That even though I thought I would die, that He would somehow let them know that I loved them and that I was sorry. That I was sorry for all the things I put them through, and I was sorry for all of the mistakes I made and everything that had happened to them. I was sorry, and I didn't mean for it to be like that. And to please just somehow let them know within themselves that I loved them. I loved them more than anything, but I couldn't be different. And I didn't die, and I didn't overdose. I woke up the next morning and I got high again. But within a couple of days, I was driving to Manchester. I had one of the things that let you know when the police are near. I got a sandwich and just put it on it, didn't even eat. So whenever it went off, I didn't even hear it. I got pulled over. I was driving on suspended license, and I got took to jail. And I wasn't like a big criminal kind of experienced person. And so one time the police came and they said, has anybody got drugs on them? Give them to us. And so I did. And everybody was like, you don't ever do that. You don't ever give the police your drugs. So then the next time, that time when I went to jail and they asked me, you got anything on you? And I'm like, no. And so they found it, and I was charged with contraband, which is a felony. And I was in jail for about 6 months. And then I was released into drug court. And once the drugs started coming out of my system, I immediately began to start praying. I didn't want to live like a Christian in jail because I felt like I just couldn't do that. But when I got out, I thought, I'm going to get my life right with God. And I thought I was going to a rehab after being there for a couple of months. And I went to a church service in jail, and I felt God deal with me to pray. And I just started out like, God, I've tried for over 20 years to be good, and I just can't. And I felt so much like Jesus said, I know. And I felt so hopeless in that moment, like, okay, God knows I'm no good. And then it's so real to me, Jesus said, that's why I died for you. He died for me because I can't be good and I can't be perfect. And in myself there is no holiness. I'm filthy rags. It is only the blood of Jesus that will cleanse and sanctify and wash and make you whole. And I had to learn that it was all about Him and not about me. And that if I got angry and cursed, and if I lost my temper, I had to know that right at the feet of Jesus was that same grace and mercy that saved me in the first place. And I just needed to go to Him and say, Lord, forgive me and help me. And that began my walk with Jesus, is learning to say, Lord, help me. Lord, forgive me and help me to be different. And I read His Word, and I keep reading His Word, and I keep searching and seeking after Him, and He helps me through every day. I've been drug-free for over 11 years now, and that's all by His grace and His mercy. He's restored my life, restored my family, and I could never thank God enough for all that He has done for me. And I just want anybody that can hear me to know that God is no respecter of persons, and that what He done for me, He will do for you. All you have to do is come to Him and ask. Just seek Him, and He'll be there for you. I'm just so grateful that He didn't let me die that night. I'm so grateful that He gave me a chance to live for Him, and a chance to be a mother to my children, and a grandmother to my grandchildren. And I thank Him for every time He lets me get up and say anything in His name, because it is only by Him. It is only through Him. And I just pray today that if you feel the Spirit knocking at your heart, that you just look up to Him and ask Him to help you. That if you need prayer, that there's people here that will pray for you. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to care about what you're wearing or where you've been or what you're doing. We're here because of the love and the mercy and the grace of Jesus Christ. That we were once drug addicts, some of us, we were once many things, but the power of God to change a person came and touched us and delivered us. Woo! Glory! And He can touch and deliver you. He can set you free right where you are. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter anything in your life. All of the brokenness, all of the heartaches, and all of the shame. If you have been the author and finisher of your own destruction, of the things that have destroyed you have been your own fault, it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter, because His mercy reaches. Oh, how His mercy calls for us, and His love searches for us. Oh, and His Spirit will come to you wherever you are. The Bible says that David made his bed in hell, and there was the Lord. Oh, glory be to God, that wherever I made my bed, the Lord was there, and that He rescued me. I praise Him, and I thank Him, for He is wonderful, wonderful, and I pray that everybody would know Him and know His peace. Thank you, and God bless you.
Amen.